Welcome to Entreprogrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, with your hosts, Josh Earl, Derick Bailey, and John Sonmez. The podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
Hey, John Sonmez here, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor for our podcast, Signal. Without Signal, we wouldn't have a place to host our podcast, and as you know, Signal is actually from one of our own here at Entreprogrammers. It is the creation of Derick Bailey. So Derick is actually the owner and creator of Signal, and it's a podcast hosting service. So if you are interested in creating your own podcast, go on over to signalleaf.com and sign up for an account today and check out how easy it is to get started. The thing I really like about Signal is just how easy it makes it for hosting your podcast. Of course, I have my own podcast, Get Up and Code, that I host at Signal, and I've been very happy with it. We're hosting Entreprogrammers there as well. And so thank you again, Signal for sponsoring this show. And don't forget to check out Signal at signalleaf.com if you're interested in starting your own podcast.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derick as we figure it out. We are the Entreprogrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developreneurs.
Dude. All right, so we're rolling,
Right.
so to speak.
Rolling with the homies.
Yeah, that's you guys like that intro?
Oh man, that was so awful. We're gonna have to play that for anybody that listens to this episode.
Yeah. Are we not? I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if that was like a not sure if moment for me. Like, you want to stick with that, John, or?
I do. I actually do want to stick with it. It's
That
funny.
is
It's
awful.
like it's not that bad. It's pretty good. Like, do you not like the music or do you not like the words?
Or the way that he raps it.
Well, it's not a rap. It's hip hop. It's like
Yes.
90s hip hop style.
Yes, exactly, and that is entirely the problem with it. It's awful. It doesn't even rhyme. I mean.
Well, okay, it doesn't rhyme because I gave him the words. It didn't need to rhyme. So if it rhymes, then it's kind of worse. Sometimes when you don't try to rhyme, that's better.
Yeah. It's like when you get your colors slightly off. You know, you accidentally wear the dark navy blue socks with your black pants or something.
Right.
Okay, well, I only paid $5 for it, so if you guys don't want to use
That was
it,
totally worth $5 just to make us laugh.
all right, we'll definitely have to put it in this episode. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think we should still use it for the outro though, but
I could go for that.
hold on, I gotta listen to it one more time just to make sure
Is there a way that you can play it over the Hangout?
Oh, is
That
there?
would be amazing.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derick as we figure it out. We are the Entreprogrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developreneurs.
Yeah, I listened to that at like 5:30 in the morning. That's pretty much the first thing I did when I woke up. Like, well, my day will just get better from here.
Yes.
I think it's awesome.
We have an artistic difference here.
We do.
It's emerging. Honestly, I mean, to me, it's hilariously bad. You know, I could go for it. Honestly, I could go either way on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not meant to be serious, obviously, right? It's like it's kind of
Clearly
fun.
not.
Yeah. So.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derick as we figure it out. We are the Entreprogrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developreneurs.
Or just damaged brain cells.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
seems more like.
I think John's heading that direction. He likes it better and better every time. So
He does.
Oh, hey, we could do this too. Did you know that we could do these?
Yeah, the lower
these
third.
segments? Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
It's wait a minute. When I look at mine, it's like backwards.
It shows it correctly for me.
That's weird. Okay.
Oh man, this makes the Google Hangouts jumping around graphics even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, does it? Okay. Should I turn that off? The lower third.
Well, yeah, when it shifts to Derick, he's full screen, so it's kind of weird.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll turn that off. All right. Everyone will figure out who we are pretty soon. So. Oh, but you can save presets on there, so you could actually just. That's pretty cool. You can put logos in there too. So, we might want to experiment with that.
I thought we were doing just audio anyways.
Well, I mean, we'll put the video on the site, right? Like the
I can't figure out a way to play audio through a Google Hangout.
Sounds like something that should go in podcast recorder.
Yeah, seriously. Play audio.
There's got to be something like so you can listen to your check out this Lady Gaga song that I am listening to and let's talk about it.
That's definitely an MVP feature for our app.
Yeah. All right. Oh, whoa! I just flipped my screen. Oh, now it's coming up correct for me. There's like a little button that you can switch it.
Oh, that's interesting.
You can rotate. You can
mirror yourself. I like it better. I like it opposite mirror. This is better. I feel more comfortable now looking at myself from this view, even though I've just flipped it. All right, so we should probably get into it.
Yeah.
So how's your guys'
I have Soundflower installed, and I want to play this freaking intro.
Is that like a Google Hangout extension?
No, it's a audio app for Macs that lets you do all kinds of crazy things with sound input and output.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into it, I guess. So numbers. Josh, what are your numbers looking like?
All right, yeah. So oh my gosh, I'm actually a little scared at how well this Twitter thing is working right now. So I'm looking at my campaign. So for my Twitter campaign, which is just the one tweet that I had, and Derick, that was a great tip about deleting the hashtag. That's really helped, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm getting fewer just stray. I'm not getting any stray engagements.
Right.
Currently, I'm paying 9 cents a click. Well, 9 cents an engagement. And most of them are clicks. I've gotten 160 clicks, 1 retweet, and 13 follows. My engagement rate is 2.77%, which is crazy.
Right.
And I'm only paying 9 cents a click.
Nice.
And my lead page is currently converting at 19%. And that is that's actually artificially low because that includes the initial run that I did. So it includes like 20 clicks or so where I only got 1 sign up because it wasn't as good. So since I redid the page, it's just steadily been climbing. I think it started out at like 5% from my first day, and then it's just been climbing ever since then. So I'm thinking it might end up somewhere like in the 25 to 30% range, which is
nice.
that's oh my gosh, so that means like I'm only paying 50 cents in acquisition per email address if I'm getting 9 cents a click and 20 or 30% conversion. That's an email subscriber for 50 cents. So,
wow.
Little crazy. And I've gotten I've signed up 40 people, 40 signups through this campaign.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's cost me about 20 or 30 bucks.
Right.
So,
wow, that's great. So how are you getting your clicks so cheap? I don't understand this part. The conversion on the landing page I understand, but the clicks at 9 cents, I don't understand that.
Yeah. So okay, I think it's a combination of things. I did target worldwide, so that's where the part where I'm a little scared comes in. I don't
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if that's going to hurt me long term, like if these subscribers will be less likely to buy my book. But this is really not any different than anything I've ever been doing with Twitter. So I have never tried to restrict myself to like Europe and
Right.
the United States. So
So the things that drive your cost per engagement on Twitter are basically the competitiveness of your target and how you're targeting people. So if you're targeting specific keywords and you're going after big giant keywords that have a lot of interaction around the world, or if you're going for categories, the categories that Twitter provides, those are expensive things. If you're
right.
also targeting countries like the U.S. and Canada and the U.K., those kinds of high-tech countries are very expensive as well. You'll end up spending a lot more per engagement on those. Also, if you write really poor ads, you end up spending more per click because Twitter is going to end up serving those ads just as much as any other ad that you have, but the lower the engagement rate, the more you're going to pay because Twitter is spending time and resource serving your ad, and it's not giving them any return or you any return.
yeah, I think a big factor is my 2.77% engagement rate. That's pretty high
Yeah.
from what I've seen. Like,
Yeah. So when I was talking
Yeah.
to that AdWords or Google Ads, sorry, Twitter Ads specialist a couple days ago, she was saying that the average engagement rate is between 1 and 2%. So when you
okay,
get anywhere over 2%, you're doing better than most. I actually got an email a couple days ago saying that my Watch Me Code campaign was like in the top 30% of all Twitter ads because it was over 3.5%.
nice. That's cool. Yeah, I think my campaigns have generally been in the upper half, 50%
Right.
and above. So I've been like upper one, 1.8, 1.9%, and then this one's doing really well.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Now, and you're targeting, so let's talk about, so what exactly are you targeting keyword
no, I
or,
am targeting accounts. So
Right.
I'm
okay,
targeting people that, so there's about, I think I'm currently targeting about 650,000 people. So all the followers of the Sublime Text HQ account, and then like Ruby, the Rails official account,
Right.
Paul Irish, just miscellaneous kind of web
Yeah.
developers, David
I see.
Hannemeyer Hansen.
Big
I
name
just,
developers
yeah,
are
yeah,
gonna have a huge following.
right. And I tried to pick people that are like
Right.
open source
Yeah,
friendly.
that makes sense. Okay, and I guess some of those are going to be, going to be cheaper to,
Right.
than, I would think the Rails would be more expensive, but I don't know if it matters. If does the account matter? Like, if you're not targeting keywords,
I
maybe it
think if
doesn't,
there were other people targeting the account, then yeah,
yeah,
it probably does, but maybe I'm just lucky right now.
yeah,
Yeah, if you have a large enough user selection, so if you're just targeting 2 or 3 different accounts, then you're probably going to pay a lot for those followers. But if you have, 20 or 30 people in your list, then you're going to have a huge overlap. And
yeah,
the from what that account specialist was saying, when you target a specific account, the followers of a specific account, it's looking at the interests and the aggregations of the people in that account. It's not just limiting you to the people that follow that person. It's
right.
using
Right.
the followers in order to create an aggregate of the type of people that you should be advertising
Right.
towards.
Yeah, there's like a
Oh, that's
checkbox,
cool.
like people like this, people like the people that follow this account.
Yeah. Also, make sure you're using the expand your reach link at the bottom of the list of users, because it'll
Okay.
have some decent suggestions for additional accounts to follow.
I'll take a look at that too. So I just looked at my Pipity. So I did that pop-up this weekend,
Yeah.
and I just looked at my numbers again, and I'm up to 12.34%
Oh,
Wow.
wow,
conversion.
that's just insane.
Yeah, it's still small, but it's actually, it went up to 10, and it's been holding. I mean, it's gone up since then, but I'm at 235 impressions and 29
Right.
conversions on that. So
Now,
yeah.
how are you using the pop-up? What settings have you set for it to appear? This is in Sublime Text Tips, right?
Yeah, I basically it has a 30-day expiration on it, and then it pops up immediately when you hit the site, and it pops up when you hit the home page or a sub page. And I haven't put in any filters other than I don't want to show it on my newsletter. I have a hard-coded newsletter sign-up page, like a static page. I don't want it to show up on that, or the thank you page, or the confirm page that I have. So other than that, everybody sees it. I'm not filtering by traffic, anything right now. So
Right.
Okay, so yeah, so I just went to your site, and I got the when I went to the main site, I scrolled down a little bit, and then
it's got a 3-second delay on it or something. So
okay,
it's not a scrolling delay. It's just
it's not at the end. Okay.
So if you bounce in back, you won't hit it. But if you're there for a couple seconds, you'll see it.
I see. Okay, and you are doing a full, pretty much block out on it.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, and I did have what was I gonna say? I forget.
You're gonna sell. I like that. I mean, I would be skeptical that your giveaway is a chapter of your book.
Yeah,
but
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this to me was a control. I was gonna say, okay, this is gonna convert at 1 or 2%, and then I'm gonna improve it. I'm gonna come up with a better giveaway. But it's actually converting. I think the bullets that I did were pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, if you read it, I think it's decently written, and it seems to be working. So, I mean, I'm probably gonna A/B test it just for the sake of having something to blog about.
Yeah.
But like I don't. It seems hard to conceive that I could improve on 12% conversion for this.
Well, the other thing to consider about this too is, I mean, if you're getting this kind of conversion on giving away a chapter of your book, that's pretty freaking awesome, because even if you could get a 20% conversion, I'd rather have 12.5% giving away a chapter of my book, because the thing about that is you're already they're willingly accepting advertising for your book. They read that chapter. I mean, you're going to make sales just from that. You don't even have to pass them through the entire funnel at that point. Like, it's a short circuit. So that's pretty dang awesome, I think.
This is what I've been giving. This has been my giveaway for a long time, but I've not been comfortable since how I've been couching it is like 12 pages of tips. Like, I haven't said sample chapter, because that seems pretty self-serving. So I figured, like, I mean, it's a full chapter, and I've gotten some decent feedback that it's people write me and say, I bought your book based on the sample. That was a good, it showed what the value of your book was.
Yeah.
Right. But I just have always felt a little bit awkward promoting it that way. So I just decided to give it a try this time, and it seems to be.
Well, A/B test that. Just change that text from 12.
Yeah, I think I'll go with a similar. I'll try A/B testing it against a similar strategy.
Yeah.
With the one pager that I'm doing with the Twitter advertising, and see, because I liked that, because I could be so focused. Like, when you're only offering one tip, it's so easy. You can just kind of tease it, and it's so easy because it's so focused. It's like one thing. And with this book, it's like, well, it's like 12 or 15 pages, and what do I pull out of it, and how do I really promote it? And so I think that I'm gonna try a similar strategy where I might even try that same giveaway from my lead pages page.
So one more thing I can think of that you need to do with this is you got to track those people that are coming in through this Twitter campaign. And track them all the way to sales, because if you can track them all the way, and you could say, okay, I got 100 people that signed up for my list today when I spent I spent $200 today, got 100 people signed up to my list, and then 20 of those people went on to buy.
Right.
Then you can multiply that out, and you can say, okay, well, 20 times $20 average profit on those guys. That's $400, right?
Right.
Yeah, $400, right?
Yeah.
So So then you could say, well, dang, if I spend $200 and make $400, I can spend I can spend as much money as I want on Twitter, like as much money as I can pump into the ads, then go, and you can just you can just crank it up.
Yeah, and it would also help me get a better idea of how much I could pay. So if my cost per click goes up to $1, is it still worth it? I don't know right now.
Right.
But it might be.
But yeah, are you able to track them right now?
So I haven't figured that out yet. I think what I'm going to have to do is put a hidden field. This is so clumsy. I think I'm going to have to put a hidden field for every new channel that I create.
Mm-hmm.
For bringing in subscriptions. I'm going to have to create a hidden field, which means a group in MailChimp. So I'm going to have like, a couple dozen groups, which I hate to do, but MailChimp does let you track inbound, like they'll keep track of sources for you, like traffic sources or sign up sources, but it's kind of limited. Like they have, supposedly you can tell, like there should be like an e-commerce DPD source and an API. So, but the problem is Leadpages uses the API, as does Pipity. So you just get generic API, like they'll come in as API calls.
Right. Yeah.
We'll be able to differentiate them.
But you can tack the hidden field in through there. Yeah. And then, because if you can do that would be critical. Like if you can just follow it all the way.
The other problem is I can't for lead. Oh my gosh, too many similar sounding companies. For LeanPub, I don't necessarily always get those email addresses. I only get about 20% of them. So.
Yeah. So but I think when you're funneling people through here, right? You're probably mostly selling them through your DPD page now, or
I push people to my DPD page, but I'm actually still getting most of my sales through LeanPub. Like,
okay.
I think I've only gotten one or two sales this week from DPD. So, because I actually I had in my Twitter profile, I had a link to the DPD page, but I actually replaced that with a link to my newsletter.
Yeah.
So I'm just pushing everything there again.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Well, that's it.
Yeah. So that's been really exciting. Kind of curious to see how that turns out. I'm just going to let it run for a little while and see what happens. But so that's been really good this week. And then sales have been pretty steady. I've been selling more than I was before. Definitely more than I was before the launch. So anywhere from three a day has kind of been the lowest so far. And then I've gone up to 6 to 8 even different units, like packet. I've been selling a lot of bundles, so that's really encouraging. Yeah, because that's I get almost $30 a pop when somebody buys a bundle. So, and I raised my prices across the board. So everything's now $22 to $27 on LeanPub, and then the bundles are $32 to $39 or something. So
nice.
Yeah. Yep. So and then the standing desk site is clicking along. It's up to $550, $555 actually. So
nice.
Don't know. Just it continues to do what it does.
Did you get that mention in Peter Cooper's?
I haven't seen it. Not yet. So
okay.
I don't know. I don't know if he definitely was 100% clear that he intended to do it. I don't know if he forgot. Well, he said he emailed me and said I scheduled it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's possible that it's going to go out today.
No, but I've already seen today's.
Oh, really? I didn't get it. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go back and confirm, but I don't think I saw any usages of that status code. So of the coupon code rather. So yeah. Oh well.
I'm that'll be
Which newsletter did he say he was going to go in?
Status code, which is his tools and utilities.
Okay. Yeah. The one that I got was JS Weekly.
Okay. Yeah, no, he said he was going to go in status code. He sent one out the Friday before my launch.
Right.
And I'm not sure if he meant for that to be the one, and somehow he didn't. Maybe he put it in there and didn't save it, or. But I extended the coupon code, so if he scheduled it for if he scheduled it for today or or a couple weeks from now, it'll still be valid. So
Yeah, because I don't think he sends out status code every week.
no, he said it's really sporadic because it takes more work, and it's the
Right.
smallest newsletter and takes the most work of all of them. So
So yeah, you might have to wait for a
yeah,
few
yeah.
more weeks.
So what your total launch numbers look like then? Like, did you hit the
Yeah,
$4
so
grand mark?
let me see. I did. Let me see. I pulled them together for after the. Yeah, after. So right. I don't have it. I don't have it added up in front of me. But yeah, I broke $4 grand. I think it was like 4,200 for
Nice.
7 days. For 7 days. So last time I had like an extended launch because I screwed up my well, I had Peter Cooper's newsletter come out a couple days after my launch and stuff. So I kind of, when I did my launch write-up blog post, I looked at the first 7 days. So if I compare that, that was about 2,000. This was about 42 or 4,300. So definitely, and it was a lot smaller product, or more focused product with a smaller audience, I think. So,
Right.
Yeah. It'll be really cool to see when the dust settles what you end up with, like, as your baseline
yeah,
from
yeah,
this now. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's gonna basically double. I think it's gonna basically double, maybe a little bit less than that, but because of the package, like the package, so many people. I made more on that package. I made 14. Let's see here. Yeah, I made like 14. I made like 15 or 16 grand, 15 or 1600 on the
Yeah.
on the package. So
nice.
yep.
Yeah, Nathan Barry just launched, or he's launching Tuesday. He just sent out his email today. Did you guys catch that?
No, not yet.
I have to say, I'm not, okay, this is kind of weird, but I'm really curious to see these results, because here's the deal. He's making a 2-hour course, just 2-hour course on launching, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-hour course, and when I looked at the outline, yeah, 2-hour video course.
Okay.
On launching, and when I looked at the outline, it was all the stuff that he's already kind of covered in most of his posts, so there wasn't really much new stuff in there. And then it's got like 7 interviews, I think, which seemed decent. So it's 2 hours, just one 2-hour course, 7 interviews. Any guesses on what his price is?
I would guess pretty high, probably 300 to 500.
Yeah, $500.
500, yeah.
For the base. He added some consulting in there for like a $9.99 price and a $2,500 price for one-on-one consulting.
Right.
But he limited those to 5 and 15. So I'm pretty sure those are just mostly anchors and then a little bit of bonus money for him. But basically he's selling this course 2 hours of video for $5.99 on launching, and here's the thing that really like made me I don't know, that's why I want to see the results, is because I don't think he launched this thing very good at all. Like I haven't gotten very much communication from him about it. There's not a lot of blog posts, or and he doesn't have a very strong sales emails in there. I mean it's not quite the launch yet, but it looks like it's pretty weak in the pre-launch stuff. So I'm really curious to see how he does with it.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's got such a big list at this point. He's got somewhere between 15 and 20,000 probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So he can get away with a little bit more of a low key approach. Although he'd still do better probably if he did more of the itty biz style. A little bit more elaborate approach.
Yeah.
I thought that class was. I thought that was actually going to be a class, like a from my impression of it was that it was going to be like a master class kind of thing.
Okay.
With a class component, but I could be wrong.
He's got a ConvertKit class or something like that he did, or he had a class that didn't actually sell at all. I think it was a launch class, and then he couldn't sell the tickets for it. But he realized that he didn't launch it correctly. So I don't know. I mean, it just I'm real. If he gets, I don't know if I want him to get good results or not, because I don't know what that says. I guess if he gets good results, then that says that the most important thing is having a big list.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I'm looking at his launch content, like no offense, I'm not trying to like be whatever, but it just does not look like he is doing the launch the way that you're supposed to do the launch. It does not appear to be like there's not very much anticipation being built. There's not a lot of information being divulged. There's not so I don't know. So if he's able to launch into his audience with that high of a price tag, with that small of a content, and still sell it, then that kind of tells you that what we're kind of suspecting already, which is get people on your email list. But it skyrockets it to a whole new level where it's like this is the most critical, important thing. Do anything but get people on your email list first.
Yeah. So one thing it's been hammered home to me lately is that basically like the most important. So when you're selling something, the most important thing is trust. The second most important thing is the offer.
Right.
So if you can, if it doesn't even matter, like a lot of the copywriting stuff doesn't matter. I mean, it'll help, but it won't make or break you. It's your offer that really makes or breaks you, and how you package stuff. So he's got the trust for sure.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice history of successful launches to fall back on. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does. He did do a big write-up a couple days ago about 3 reasons why product launches fail.
I did, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so there was that. But yeah, I haven't seen much. I've been on his list. I remember one or two emails that mention this, but I haven't seen a whole lot yet. So.
Yeah. But we'll have to keep an eye and see what. I'm sure he'll.
You might be. You're kind of regretting your your price point now.
I don't know. I mean, I still feel like my price point is right because at $299 and then $100 off at the launch, that's $199. That's people paid, like I talked to a lot of my customers. I did Skype calls with them. I don't know if I told you guys about this, but I emailed every single customer. I said, hey, let's talk. Why did you buy this course? And then I said, if you have some time, let's talk. And I talked to a lot of them, and I offered to give them some additional advice. And the number one thing that, most people were saying, it was a no-brainer at $75. Like they were saying, this was an easy purchase. So I feel like at $199, and this was pre-order before the course is even out there. I feel like at $199 with everything ready, you buy the course, you get it. That it still is in the no-brainer zone, and so I'd kind of prefer to have it. I guess it kind of comes down to this too. It's like, yeah, maybe I could sell the course for $500, but I think if you buy the course for $500, right, and you go through the material, you might say, okay, that was the fair value, or I don't know, like I'm not going to get a refund, but I don't know. But if you buy it for $200 or even $300, you're going to be like, wow, 1.5 gigs of download, like all of this data, like I can't even watch all this stuff. It takes me 2 weeks to watch all this stuff. I got my money worth. This is awesome. And then I feel like they'll be more likely to buy the next thing that I sell. So that's why I'm still feeling like that price is right.
Yeah, well, that's a big. For your first product, really, that's a huge chunk to bite off. Most people do a $9.99 ebook.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't. If I was in your shoes, I'd probably want to price it a little lower, just because it's hard to put a big number out there, and that's a pretty big number already. So. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll definitely be interesting to follow to see what his results are, and yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
I'll go, I guess. So my screencast sales are pretty much in the toilet, as my emails have been indicating lately. I've sold like 26 in the last 30 days. And those are low ticket sales. Those are $12 to $18 on average. Versus my ebooks with Backbone plugins, I'm selling 25 of those a week at this point.
Nice.
Wow.
It's been holding consistently at about 20 to 25 a week for the last month.
Are you advertising that through Twitter also?
Yeah, using Twitter ads on that.
Okay.
And I'm doing Twitter ads on Watch Me Code screencasts as well. So with the conversion rate of 0.7 on Watch Me Code and a conversion rate of 3.68 on Backbone plugins, you know,
What was it again? 3.68 you
yeah,
said?
3.68 for the last week, and I think that's holding pretty steady for the last month.
So your screencast ads, those are pitching specific screencasts, right?
Sometimes
Sometimes.
it'll pitch a group of them, it'll pitch a single one, it'll pitch the site in general.
Okay. I would say definitely axe the site in general. That would be a good
Yeah,
place to start.
I only had one in there, and it was my lowest performing one, and I don't even think it's
Oh.
active anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like, yeah, because you really like what I'm learning about these ads is like you wanna focus on one action,
Mm-hmm.
and so for me the sign up is a very clear action to promote. Do your ads also explicitly, are you saying like buy this? Are you, because I remember they
No.
had good teaser copy, but you might want to make them like one thing I did. So my conversion rate improved significantly when I explicitly stated sign up for my newsletter in the tweet.
Right.
Because then there's no surprises. It's not like you don't think it's a blog post and you're going to get something for free.
Right.
So you'll get probably fewer clicks, but you'll also get, you don't want those other clicks anyway. So
Yeah.
so
So
being clear about what you're asking.
my typical text includes, the word screencast at least once. Well,
Okay.
once.
Yeah, but there could be, lots of screencasts are free, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Give stuff away.
See,
But
I'm
then I
wondering.
wouldn't be advertising them.
Well, your numbers are so low on the purchase of the screencast coming from Twitter advertising that I don't think people are ready to buy your screencasts when they come from a Twitter ad. I think that you'll have a lot more success getting them on your list and getting them to like after you've on an autoresponder sequence, and then they get to know you a little bit, and then they're like, oh, this guy's giving me awesome stuff. Of course I want to buy his screencast. And then maybe, and it might be worth the effort because, if someone buys one of your screencasts, I would think that they're going to probably come back for more, and they're going to want to try to find more.
Yeah.
I don't know. You really got to find out why people aren't buying. I think is
Right.
Well, I think I think that switching your focus to the list at this point is your best move. The thing about that is it covers all the bases, right? If you even if you get somebody to buy your screencast, you've gotten $10 or $12, and you have a new customer in your list, which is great. But it would be much better to have, even if 20 people didn't necessarily buy right now, it would still be better to have 20 people than that $10, because those are people that you can sell other stuff to. They might be interested in your book, and they might never hear about it otherwise. And and you can also use them to drive traffic to your blog, which you're going to need now because you don't have the Los Techies. You're going to be losing the Los Techies traffic. So
Right. Yeah, I set up DerickBailey.com with WordPress this morning using John's video tutorial from his course. It worked flawlessly, so if anybody is listening to this wondering whether or not to buy John's course, buy it because the tutorial worked flawlessly for me.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I need to get a testimonial from you on that.
Did you turn off the? Did you turn off the? Did you get the alert from DigitalOcean? That stupid server username password alert turned off when you hit your site? Because when we were working on the 24-hour challenge.
Oh no, he went through the manual process. That was in my video tutorial.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Never mind. Okay.
I did the one-click install for our podcast recorder because we're not getting traffic. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. No, I did all custom stuff. I signed up. I set up my own account instead of using root all the time, and even that was easy with John's video. His video didn't cover that at all, but I Googled how to set up an account, and then once I had the account set up, the rest of the video worked fine.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm getting really pissed off and frustrated about the whole screencast situation for a lot of different reasons. And You guys keep telling me that I should pursue it and continue it, and I keep wondering why. I mean, it's adding a hell of a lot of stress to my life.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to show for it for the month of March. I mean, I literally have nothing. I don't have anything to release. I had half of something. I had an old episode that I had recorded months ago, and I sent it off to my editor, and he sent it back to me, and it's utter garbage. I mean, it's just complete and total garbage. You can't follow the content. You can't figure out what the heck is going on. It just jumps straight into a whole bunch of arbitrary code, and it's unworkable. It would take me more time to salvage that episode than it would be to create something new. And it takes me 24 to 32 hours to create a new episode that lasts 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay, so here, go ahead.
It's killing me. It's just.
All right. So I think, okay, so for me, I think that when you talk about giving up on screencasting, I think part of what I'm hearing is a little bit of giving up on products. And I think that, so if you like, Signal Leaf is going to be a long haul.
Right.
Very and long. I think you definitely need small products in the meantime to help kind of start to build your income. So, and the nice thing about the screencasts, from my perspective, is that they're bite-sized. They are
bite-sized for the consumer.
Well, they're
bite-sized payments for me, but they are a hell of a lot of work to produce. They are not bite-sized to produce.
Right, but are they less? Could you ship Could you ship an entire book in the time it takes you to do one screencast?
No.
That's the thing. So you can ship them more quickly. That's what I mean by bite-sized. It's something you could finish inside of a week, right? Like if you worked full-time on it.
If I dedicated an entire week, yes, I can never do that.
A book is going to be, I would imagine, even a decent short book is going to be 2, 3, 4 times that. If it, like for me, I can write 1,000 words an hour.
Right.
So, to do a 30,000 word book, just the writing part would take me 30 hours if I had all the research and content done.
Right.
Yes.
So you could ship very small ebooks. You could ship 500 or 5,000 word ebooks. But the screencasts are nice because you can encapsulate something. So they're a nice format for that reason, because you can encapsulate something and ship it in a smaller package. And string them together if you want into something bigger.
Right.
So I think they're a good format, a good vehicle. The issue you're having though is sort of something you're going to have to deal with regardless. Like, your backbone book is selling well, but you don't know that your next book is going to sell well. Right. And if you don't have your list up to the point where you can sell the screencasts, you're probably going to struggle to sell the next book too. So that's kind of where I'm coming at it from. It's not so much like I think screencasting is the only thing that'll work for you. It's just like really the list building is the issue we need to get working for you.
And let me reframe it for you a little bit here, because Josh was right. He sent an email to the list and said that your expectations were really high, and that was I think that's kind of, I would guess that's what's bumming you out, because I keep on hearing like you're trying to project against these numbers that you can make in the consulting world, which is, you can't compare against that. But let's reframe this. Let's say, okay, imagine 5 years ago if you had the success of your screencast that you do now, right? Just selling 25 a month, right? 5 years ago, would you be friggin' thrilled by that? Right? That people are
thrilled by that right now if I could sell one a day. I can't even do that.
Well, but you're selling what, 20 a month or so, or of the screencast you said, or it was 20.
Yeah, 26 for the last 30 days.
Yeah, 26.
How much have you spent on advertising too? You probably
$5 a day.
Yeah.
I've spent almost as much advertising as I've made in sales.
Okay, but let's go before you start advertising with Twitter. How many screencasts were you selling a month?
2 or 3 a month.
Oh, 2 to 3 a month. Okay, so you weren't really hitting much traffic.
No. Maybe
regardless, okay.
On a good month I'd sell 10.
Okay, so my reframe totally failed here. So, but I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna try again here. And I'm still think that that still needs to be reframed in the basic that don't try and like put this pressure on yourself for the income goals. I think the thing is like you're building up something for the future that is, these are solid screencasts. Like if you can figure out how to get these things sold, you've got like an awesome product. You've got a product that not a lot of people can do because it's a high bar one. Not a lot of people can do screencasts. They're afraid to, it's much more people blog or write books than do screencasts. And if you just have the right channel, the right medium to sell these things through, I think it's something that customers are going to buy multiple times. It's a repeat selling product, and it's and like Josh said, products are the way to go because if you do consulting for another 10 years and you raise your hourly rate or whatever and you make some client lists, when you stop consulting, anytime you take a break, you stop making money. Like it does not keep coming in,
right.
And you're not growing an audience. But
unless you can pull John's little stunt.
Yeah, unless you pull that little trick.
Finder's fee. Oh, I'll take 20% of your $50,000.
So I'm basically facing that situation right now though, because when I can sell 100 copies of a screencast from my mailing list when I release an episode, and then it's dead after that. It's just there's no sales coming in. Just a trickle less than one a day, which is barely paying the advertising
right.
fees and everything else that I've pumped into this. So it's more a question of, can I produce these things on a regular basis so that I will be able to sell these things in leaps and bounds? Because it's very much a don't sell anything, release an episode, sell a bunch. Don't sell anything, release an episode, sell a bunch.
You're also feeling probably that this is basically hourly work, right?
Yes.
At this point, yeah, I was feeling this exact same thing last summer. It was like, as long as I kept flogging the marketing horse, I would keep getting a trickle of sales. But if I stopped doing that, it would dry up.
Right. It's content. It's
right.
In order to continue selling content, you have to continue producing content. If you stopped your blog posts, if you just let your blog go dry today, you would very quickly have zero traffic on your blog. Not zero, but you would very quickly see it declining.
It would go for a while because there's a lot of old blog posts that get traffic. Look at Coding Horror. Like but the thing is, but here's the thing also. There's two things that's really important here. One is the work that I'm doing is building an audience, right? Like more people are hearing about my name, more people are visiting the site, more people are knowing about me in general and liking. And their movement is going from I've heard of this guy to I really like this guy, I'd buy any product he sells. Like I'm moving more people in that direction.
Right.
And then secondly, when I'm building up products like things that will last in Google, that will be searchable, that will that's even though I'm giving away a lot of that for free, and that's those hours that I spend, it's like I could calculate my time and I could say, when I'm writing a blog post or doing a YouTube video, I'm making X dollars per hour, but that's not really true because the long tail on it is so long and it's multiplied by audience. As my audience grows, like work I did 2 years ago becomes more valuable. So that's the thing, is like for you too, is I think if I were you, my goal would be get away from consulting. Like build enough, that should be your number one goal, because the more time that you free,
ultimately.
Yeah. So then this is, then the two things right now that are going to get you away from consulting is your book and your screencasts. It's not going to be Signal Leaf yet, because that's going to take a while. Like that's a much longer and much more riskier gamble, I think. But that people make money selling screencasts for sure. That's how I made made most of my money.
Yeah, but you're going through Pluralsight, which is a different level of screencasting and income altogether.
No, I'm just saying that people buy it. It's a sellable, definite product with a high demand. That's all my proof of it. But
and
I
developers buy them. So
Right, exactly. Yeah. Focusing on the products is the key thing, and it's frustrating, but
I
if you
understand everything that you guys are saying, but when I come down to I've got 40 hours in a week of work that I can do, more likely I have 50 to 60, which is what I really do between everything that I'm putting in. I spend the vast majority of that doing, miscellaneous work. I spend enough time working on one or two projects in the week that having a third is darn near killing me. I'm either working on Signal Leaf or I'm working on screencasts at this point.
yeah.
I
Well, and
never
I
seem
think
to I can't seem to find the time
yeah.
to organize things properly
right,
so that I'm doing, so that I can get the hours I need to pay the bills in consulting, and
Right.
then be able to produce content for Signal Leaf, and then be able to produce content for Derick Bailey, and then be able to code for Signal Leaf, and then be able to code for screencasts, and then be able to record and edit screencasts. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's just far too many things that I have to do. I'm very rapidly falling behind in at least two of these things every week.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I would say for just as far as that, like definitely definitely don't try to do ship a screencast. Like say, okay, I'm going to spend the next 3 weeks, I'm going to ship a screencast, or
yeah,
next 2 weeks. Do that, then go back to Signal Leaf. Don't try to bounce back and forth between them.
yeah,
Like that's just work in sprints. Like that's what I had to do. Like I have a ton. I have like two or three pages of crap that I've been putting off just to get through my stupid launch of my book.
yeah,
And now like the next probably 3 or 4 weeks are just going to be all this miscellaneous crap, like getting my pop-up working, and playing around with advertising, and getting my taxes filed.
Right.
All this stuff that I've been like postponing. But yeah, so I think what the other thing that I'm hearing too, and that I've really dealt with, is like it's so frustrating because like you need like an automated funnel.
yeah,
You need a little bit of, you need something working for you that's automated, so that you're not constantly having to flog the content horse by blogging. You can't, like, that's not sustainable. You can't do a couple blog posts every week, for every one of your products. There's just no way.
Right, but that's the
Do
only
do
way that I
nothing
can
else.
get any attention at this point. I mean,
Well, no, you're
and
getting,
I'm not even getting mailing list signups at this point. I've had
you're, but you're
less than
doing,
one a day.
you've got this Twitter. You're so close with this Twitter advertising. I swear, if you do the mailing list thing with your Twitter
yeah,
advertising, and you get an autoresponder sequence set up, so that you are automatically, those people come in and they're automatically getting walked, through a relationship with you, at least for the first 10 weeks or so, then like that will be a very, very good investment for you at this point.
So here's part of the problem on that front, though.
Okay.
I don't have a specific niche, target, goal, whatever for me at this point.
Hmm.
I don't have, hey, I'm the Sublime text guy, sign up and get
Yeah.
everything you want to know about Sublime.
Right.
I've got my hands in 5 different cookie jars that are unrelated to each other. How do I make that a compelling story?
I don't know if they're unrelated. Well, okay, I mean that's something to brainstorm, right? Like, okay, so your cookie jars, tell me if I've got them right, is Signal Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
It's Watch Me Code Screencasts.
Mm-hmm.
It's consulting.
Mm-hmm.
It's Marionette, creator of Marionette.
Sort
Oh,
of.
okay, or Backbone JS, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of out of that world at this point.
Okay, so
But like JavaScript developer.
Yeah, JavaScript in
Kind
general.
of guy.
yeah, I mean, to me, the unifying one is that you are the JavaScript. That JavaScript is like the most common thing, and then you can kind of niche down from there, like wherever you want to go. Is like I think maybe your niche is advanced JavaScript. Like this is where you go after no one takes you far enough, or maybe you're the guy that bridges the gap between beginner and becoming an advanced JavaScript guy, right? Like.
Right, which is really what I've been trying to focus on with the screencast and the book, actually. That's
Right.
But how do I, with everything that I'm talking about in in the ebook, the screencast, Signal Leaf, all these different things that I'm doing. How do I put that down into, the one thing for the squeeze page? How does that
Well,
translate into
so
anything?
you can't. That's impossible.
Yeah.
You don't. So for right now, I mean, so Signal Leaf to me, Signal Leaf is its own thing, and you
It
have to
has to
kind of
have its own, it's
Yeah.
separate marketing effort,
right,
separate.
right, yeah, yeah. That doesn't fit with like so. To me, you're kind of like your Signal Leaf guy, but then you're also kind of like independent developer JavaScript guy. And I think that's where you can sell obviously that's where you can sell your screencasts. So for the immediate future, I would focus the work on getting that funnel set up. Signal Leaf needs its own funnel.
Hmm.
And that
And
that
the lack of that funnel right now is eating my bank account
yeah.
dry.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But we
Which is
can
which is really why I need to focus on that, not on me,
Well,
and not on.
it
But
doesn't,
that's like I think that is a process that you can't force, unfortunately. Like SaaS growth is a pretty it's a slow curve, and I don't think you can like rush that too much.
I'm not saying rush it. I'm saying
Yeah.
do any
Oh,
work at all, because I have literally done
yeah.
nothing with it in months. I mean,
As far as marketing it.
uh, I've had a few blog posts here and there.
Hmm.
I'm talking about code.
Yeah.
It's it is stagnant. It's sitting there with what it is. I haven't added any features. I've barely fixed any bugs. I've,
is,
it will not grow if I don't put time and attention into it.
but is
Right.
that the thing that's holding it back? Is writing more code for it ever is the thing that
There's
would
nothing compelling about it right now. Other than a slightly cheaper price tag on the low end, there is no reason for anybody to sign up.
I mean the excellent support is the is kind of one of your biggest selling points right now, right? Like
Yeah.
and that I mean that's enough for because I mean hosting putting a file on a server by itself is not necessarily difficult, and I mean I guess in some ways that works to your advantage because hey, if I'm gonna I might as well put it with the guy I like,
Right.
right? That's that's how I think about it, as long as price is reasonable.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, growing yourself, growing your own audience doesn't hurt you with Signal Leaf either.
mhm.
They're not, it's not going to be, it's definitely not like a one-to-one like it
Hmm.
would be with the screencasting and the books and stuff, but it's also not, it won't hurt. I mean, if if you had 10,000 people on your list, probably you could shake the trees and get a few signups for
Right.
Leaf out of that. Um,
Yeah. I mean, if I were making your squeeze page, I think right now, like for your email sign up, what I would do is I would basically hit the pain point of a little bit of JavaScript, you've gotten your feet wet, or maybe you've kind of stagnated. Maybe you used to use JavaScript a while ago, and now, but how do you become good? Actually, how do you like move to the next level? And then have something like, I'll give you my 5 tips that will take you from beginner JavaScript to on the pathway to advanced. And
Right.
put your email in here, and then bam, you get it. And then everything else you're sending, your email list and through your email list, and all your products all fall under that umbrella. Like everyone that has that pain point would want to buy your screencast. Everyone who has that pain point would be interested in your book.
right.
I think that's where I would go with it.
You don't even have to be. You can even focus it down. You can focus it down really even tighter than that. Like pick a. It doesn't have. This doesn't have to be like. You don't have to find something that's really broad that would be applicable to everybody. Just find a specific pick like I don't know if it's Node or Backbone or what, but like one specific technology, one problem that you hear a lot of people complain about, and something that you can cover in 1 to 2 pages.
Yeah,
And just promote that. It just has to be something that's interesting to your audience. It doesn't have to be
Hmm.
something that's representative of everything you do.
that's true. Yeah.
Because this my giveaway is this copy and paste thing that people love in Sublime, and some people already know it, and probably some
Right.
people
Right.
that already know it are going to sign up for it, and be a little disappointed. But it's like it's solving one very specific pain point that's of interest to my audience, not trying to attract people to me with all the stuff I have going on with Sublime.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So given all of that, how do I find time to actually do these things?
All right,
That's like my major problem right now is, I mean, it takes 20 or 30 hours to do a screencast. It's going to take 20 or 30 hours to get all this material set up so that I can start growing my list. It's going to take 20 or 30 hours to.
Yeah. So it took me. So this week I did my little experiment. You already know how to do Twitter ads, so got that covered. To do my little experiment took me probably 5 or 6 hours maybe, and that was like learning. So I used lead pages. I had to learn that because I haven't used that before. I was writing the multiple drafts of the thing and then I did have the tip I already had kind of written up as an email, so I copied that and formatted it a little bit. So I think if you carved out maybe 5 to 10 hours, and we can we can help you get the play with different versions of the copy and stuff for the landing page.
Right.
Like that. It's something that
I have to produce material for that first, something that I can give away on that squeeze page.
Yeah, keep it really small, like one page, one to 2 pages.
Right.
So
do I focus on building that content, or do I try to get a screencast done?
Reuse something for now. Give away one of your screencasts or something that you think will be highly relevant and targeted. That's
right. Do this first, because let me tell you, for me, the hardest thing is my mindset. Like if my head is not right, if I'm discouraged, I cannot be productive.
Right.
So if you can get to where you feel like you're heading in a positive direction, and you're seeing some growth, even if it's you can improve it, and you're not losing your list is not shrinking, it's growing.
No, it's
like that. Yeah, it's shrinking right now. If you can get off of that and get it growing, that will shift your perspective.
Yeah.
And it will make you more productive. You will, you'll have a spring in your step. I mean, like it makes a huge difference. Like if I'm not like a super emotional person, but gosh, when I am not, I have to really protect my mentality and have to really stay positive, because I start to, if I get derailed onto thinking negatively, it really just cuts my feet out from underneath me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think everyone kind of goes through that, and I definitely agree with Josh on that. Like you just kind of got to trudge through this and find some small victories. And I do think you need time management is the other piece of this. Let me throw something out there.
I very clearly need that.
Kanbanflow.com. Kanbanflow.
I've got a million different tools, but having the tools doesn't mean that they're going to be useful.
Well, Kanbanflow.com. Remember that post I did on my Trello process with the Pomodoro timer? This is Trello with the Pomodoro timer built in. And I've been using it the last week. I wanted to evaluate it before I said anything, but pretty dang awesome. And if you and you can schedule your stuff, and then you can figure out exactly what you're going to spend your week on. I think that's really going to help you. I cannot operate without that. Because I'm in the same boat as you, Derick. In fact, I'm even more so, because I'm spending my 40 or 50 hours a week working only on my stuff, not doing any consulting. So I have to budget my time, and I've got a lot of projects. So what I'm doing is I basically have the things that need to get done this week, the every week things, and I budget those into my time first, and then I budget whatever the project is, and I fix it. And I think if you could do that, that would help you, because you'd be like, okay, today I am focused, or this week I'm working on getting the screencast. I don't care about the other stuff, and I don't have to stress about it, because I know that next week I have Signal Leaf stuff scheduled, or once this goes, then I'll tackle the next priority thing, and I think that will help.
No longer USB cable, man.
I know.
John's like head's like canted to the side because he had to plug in his headset.
Strangling himself.
Yeah.
Every time that my headset battery decides to die when we're on this call.
You make decent money, man. You can afford a 6-foot USB cable instead of a 3-foot.
Yeah, I just need to hook up a hub. But anyway, I mean, yeah, you just got to get. Well, oh, I remember what I was going to say too. Look, okay, watch that interview that I did with Pinal Dale in
Mhm.
that course because it's pretty dang awesome. Because I thought, I mean, this is a perspective that I would love to have that I always have to remind myself, which is like he said that when he first launched his blog, SQL Authority, and he gets 1.8 million views per month on his
Mhm.
blog, right? Friggin' ridiculous, right? But he said when he first launched his blog and he wrote a blog post, he got like 15 people had read his post, and then, or no, it was like I can't remember. There's 15 or it was under 100, right? And he called up his mom and he said, so, and told her, and she was so excited. Oh, 50 people read what you wrote. And then she called his aunt and told her, and she called him and said, "I can't believe 15 people read what you wrote on the internet." Like, and every time, I mean, it really put in perspective to me because I was like, "Holy crap! People are buying what I am selling." I mean, that's one step above. Like, it's like there was a thrill when people read your blog, but now it's like, I mean, even if they're not buying a lot of it, people are giving you money for what you are. I mean, that's freaking awesome. I mean, yeah, we'd like to make more of it, and hopefully we can scale it up. But as long as people are paying you money for what you're producing, like you're making it on your own. Like it's not like someone is hiring you and paying you to do a job. Like you produce something and someone's willing to pay for that. That is freaking awesome. I mean, it's easy to get away from that and get discouraged because you get used to it. But I remember the first time I made a sale on the internet, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I don't know. It's just a perspective I think that we all need to have is just to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I understand that perspective. I've certainly had that perspective and had those reactions in the past. I really am. I'm trying to figure out, if I have 5 different things that I need to be doing over the next month, if I focus this week on one, next week on one, next week on one, at the end of 5 weeks, I have not completed anything.
Well,
And
I'd
that
say
in itself is a problem. I can make progress on them, sure,
Right.
but when you can't complete any of them because you're splitting your time between so many things, that's a huge problem.
well, don't start anything that you don't complete. I would say. I mean, I think Josh had said it too. Is like if you're going to do the screencast, go and plow through that till you're done with it. Like try to not split the time on the
Yeah.
projects. Like chunk
You'll
it
be
into
a lot,
things that
yeah,
you can
you'll be
call complete.
a lot more effective if you. That's one thing I used to be. That's one thing I don't like about GTD, which GTD was a huge help to me when I was first like 4 or 5 years ago when I was a complete mess. It
Yeah,
really helped me,
which is
but
me right here, right now.
but
Complete mess.
what's bad about it is it encourages tracking so many projects. Like you track many projects and you can't possibly complete all of them, and
Hmm.
so you're constantly kind of like you're moving the chess pieces forward one square at a time,
Yeah.
and and so instead of getting one to the you can't, if you just try to advance all of your pawns to the and can get them all to be queens, it's going to take forever, but you can get one up there pretty quickly. So that's kind of the approach that I take now, is I'm
Yeah.
try to be a lot more focused on just one thing at a time. Like right now, I'm kind of a mess right now. The next few weeks are just going to be that way because I have all these miscellaneous things that I have let pile up. But then, I'm going to be heading back into a Sublime project after that. I'm going to try to stay pretty focused on that. So yeah, but I mean, another thing too, like, is how much time are you spending on the consulting, and can you do your, are you prioritizing that first, or are you prioritizing your project stuff, your own stuff first?
It's supposed to be consulting first. It's supposed to be 20 hours a week for that, and I'm not even getting that in.
20 billable hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, for me, I would put the stuff for you first. I would get that out of I would block off a couple of hours in the morning and say, I'm going to do, these 2 hours I'm going to work on a screencast. Then I will do the consulting stuff. Because for me, like, if I try to wait on and do my writing and stuff in the evening, or later in the day, I'm shot. Like I can't do
Yeah.
it. Because the other, like coding takes so much out of me that by the
Right.
time I'm done, So if the screencasting stuff or whatever, working on Signal Leaf is not getting done, and that's more important to you, then I would say I would shift that first and make that a priority, even if it's just a couple of hours, and then you're going to spend 2 hours on that and 6 hours on consulting, because consulting and that type of thing tends to be more fragmented. You've got meetings, you've got calls, you don't have the focus anyway.
No,
So,
I really don't have those problems in this case. I've got the one client with the projects that I'm doing. I know what I'm doing with them. I just it's code. It's work to be done at this point.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, try out the Kanban system and see if it helps you. I mean, not the Kanban, the Pomodoro, or combined, if
My
if you
problem
want.
with Pomodoro is how do you organize that? How do you plan for that? I mean, 25 minutes to do something is just enough time for me to start and then get yanked right out of my flow.
Well, but then
Yeah.
you just skip the break if
Right.
you're in the flow. You just bam, click the button and say, nope, skip the break. Let's go 25 minutes again if you're
Yeah.
right in there. But as long as you're keeping with the focus. I mean, the reason why I push it so much is because I mean, Josh kind of like I had tried the Pomodoro before, and then Josh was using it with success, and he kind of encouraged me to do it again, and I started hitting major successes. Not just I was getting a lot more done by doing when I was doing the Pomodoro technique, but I was being a whole lot less stressed out because here's the deal. Like now I'm like, okay, today I have to get 10 Pomodoros done, right? That's once I do that, I have done what I can do. I have met my obligation. Before I was always stressed out because I was like, oh, I need to get this done, and I need to get this done, and I need to get this done and this done, and I'm not spending enough time on this, and I'm leaving this, and blah blah
Right.
blah. But now it's like,
Right.
okay, I have in my week I have about 50 to 60 Pomodoros. I slot it out ahead of time, and I know how I have a budget. It's like $60 I can spend every week in increments of 50 cents each, and I can only spend that money. And if I did my job, if I did what I said I was going to do, if I completed my 50 or 60 Pomodoros, hey, I did what I could do. The only thing I can do is change my priorities, but it feels so much better to like hit the clock at the end of the day and be like, okay, look, I did my I don't feel guilty. I did what I was supposed to do. If I'm not getting done the right things, I can shift around time, but I know that I spent an adequate amount of time and I spent the time on what I planned.
Right.
It's so much more. You get a lot less stress.
Right. And that 10 out of 10 Pomodoros a day is actually a biological limit. It's not. We've discovered for both of us, like it's not arbitrary. It's actually, I've pushed up to 15 or 16 a couple days, and then crashed and burned for 3 days. Like it is. If you try to push beyond that, it's if you're really intensely focusing. And so what I would do, like, is block off, say, okay, I'm gonna have 4 Pomodoros for my book or my screencast, and then after that, say the remaining 6 go to consulting, or whatever. So that way, because like we live in an age where our work is infinite. And that was another thing I didn't like about GTD, because it encourages you to capture every stray thought you have and organize it. Well, I'm an entrepreneurial type. I can come up with 30 to 50 or to 100 really good ideas a day, And to try to capture and organize all that it was crazy making. And I was spending, like, you do the weekly review, and I could easily spend an entire day, like an entire Friday, doing a weekly review and still feel like I didn't have everything organized.
It's like pumping the well.
Yeah,
you just created a vacuum. Like you're never gonna suck all the water out.
Right. Yeah. So but I mean, getting a handle on getting a handle on just being able to know at least that you've gotten a minimum level of work done and you can relax, for me, has been huge.
Yeah.
Because one thing I really suck at is like relaxing and learning to. That's something I need to learn. in the future is is how to have fun.
But
How not to work.
yeah. It definitely helps to know that you did what you needed to do for that day. Like you
Yeah.
can.
Well, and that you're not
You're like,
being
yeah.
lazy by taking that you're not being lazy by quitting after that, because
Yeah.
you will burn yourself. You quickly realize that you can steal from tomorrow. You're basically stealing from tomorrow if you push too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It becomes very obvious. And it's also great, like when I can go back, and I'm going to when I write up my blog post about my book. I have tracked every Pomodoro that went into writing and editing that book, so I can go back and just count the X's, and I will know how many hours it takes me to do a 150-page book, which is pretty cool. And I don't have to use like a complicated time tracking app or anything for that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, same thing for me too. Like I can go back and I know, like I now when I schedule my weeks, I know exactly how long it takes to write a blog post. It's 3 Pomodoros. That's what it takes. And I don't have to guess. Like sometimes it's like, well, how long am I spending? Or to create a YouTube video, I know exactly how long it takes, to record them and to do a bunch of things that I do during the week. I can guesstimate it between. I have 4 labels: 1 Pomodoro, 2 Pomodoro, 3, and greater than 3, and I never use the greater than 3. So.
Yeah. But yeah, Derick, you're really discouraged, and it's really hard to get. You need some little victories here, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to. Because, gosh, when I feel like I'm losing, that just cascades into everything.
Mm-hmm. So of the 10 different things I need to be doing, like if I want to get the mailing list growing, well, I have to finish DerickBailey.com.
Yeah.
If I want to get screencasts done.
You don't, actually. Like DerickBailey.com does not have to be finished.
Oh, that's true. You can just have a landing page. Yeah.
If you do some sort of landing page with like lead pages or something, that you can host that on their site, and you don't have to have it done.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I did that with this. Like I kind of pared back, and I wanted to have it hosted on my site and all this stuff, and I kind of stripped it back to like I wanted to test the idea before I invested all that extra work in it. So if you can do something like that where you have a standalone landing page, you're confident that it's converting, then you can put in the 3 or 4 hours to set it up on your site.
So in the priority of things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have no idea where to go. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I don't have a good sense for like, is this something that you want to do? I mean, do you want to try the mailing list thing? Do you want? Is your heart in it? Is it?
Everything that you guys are saying is spot on what I need to be doing, and I realize that the problem is, what do I actually do first? What's the most important thing right now? And I have no idea.
Then I would say, if you have no idea, it doesn't matter all that much. Sure, there's something that's more effective, but unless you can clearly call it out, this is one of those things that trips me up, and I've just made a decision that anytime I don't know the priority, I just start executing on something. Because if it's not apparent to me, if I can't call it out within like 10 minutes of thinking, then it doesn't matter. Then I'm going to waste more time thinking about it and worrying that I'm not working on the right thing. And I can just plow through one thing, and then there'll be one less thing to decide from, priority-wise. So I don't know. Just think and figure out what to work on.
If I were you, I would say the mailing list is got to be, because that's your automated funnel there. If you can get an automated funnel, even if it's just a trickle right now, I think that'll change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I would start there. Like I would say, don't worry about, don't stress about a screencast. Don't stress about another book. Focus on, if you wanted to do a little bit of Signal Leaf stuff, cool. But really focus on the next, 5 days, or just say, okay, I'm going to take next week, and I'm going to focus on getting some traction with my mailing list.
Yeah.
And that's your project for the week, you know. So don't worry about don't worry about anything else, because if you can figure that out, then everything else gets easier. So yeah, I would start there, and I would do it first. Like I would start your day with that. Start your work day with that, because if you can, if you can get a little traction there, it's going to make you happy. You'll be more cheerful through your consulting work, and you'll just be happier. You'll be more productive overall. So.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Every day once you get that mailing list going, you'll be putting customers in the bank, I guess, too. So
right. Yeah.
You're moving forward.
If I can produce something for them to buy.
Well, you've already got stuff for them to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got.
It's not like I'm sending them an ad every week, though. I mean.
No, but
lose people off your list.
Take the money off the table. Stop putting the money pressure on yourself, because the thing is, you're not building. You don't have to, like, you're not going to sleep in the street if you don't make $100,000 this year, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, if your goal is just to make as much money as possible, then I can tell you exactly what to do, because I know what it is. It's you're going to set up 3 training courses that you're going to offer, and you're going to do as much consulting work at as high hourly rate as you can, and then you might even hire on someone under you to handle your leftover work, and you take 25% of their take. That's going to get you probably $200,000 to $300,000 a year within the first year. But I think, and I could be wrong, but I think your goal is to build something more meaningful and longer lasting than that, and something that's more rewarding. So, heck, I mean, you might not make a lot of money at all at first, but you're in the stages of building up an empire. It's going to take a while to build all those bricks. As long as you're putting bricks in that wall, then I mean, I'd say, like, look at where you're going to be in 2 to 3 years. Don't worry about. I mean, who cares what your income is? I mean, who cares if you make $500 off a screencast this month? Or that's chump change, really, right? I mean, that's not a huge amount of money, because what you should be shooting for, I think, is in 3 years that you're going to make $2,000 or $3,000 a month off a screencast, and that your whole empire is going to bring in like $10,000 a month of product sales. And so what I'm saying is, like, don't fret over the money right now, because this is all chump change at this point. Like, just fret on putting in the infrastructure that's going to get you to the road to making the money that actually matters, later down the road. I mean, obviously you still got to eat and you still got to live, but
yeah, that's the problem. Is I mean, if I want to consider this chump change and not worry about it so much, then I have to do more consulting, and doing more consulting means less time to do these things.
Yeah.
You are in a different situation, though, because you are in a double income. I mean, you do, like, you're not so, what I'm saying? Like, you're not so strapped as you don't have all the pressure on you, and you could always, and you do have the ability to always fall back to a job if you needed to, or to just fall back to full-time consulting. But I mean, take your runway as far as it'll go. Like, as soon as you get, it's like Josh was saying, like that, like he was in the same spot, and then and I remember having this talk with Josh and be like, no, stick to the damn Sublime text, like, stick to it, you're almost there. But then the snowball started rolling, and it started picking up snow instead of being pushed up the hill, and it's like, you just have to see that point is like a year or two in the future, but then the snowball will pick itself up and it'll start packing on its own snow. I mean, the same thing happened to me in real estate. Man, I pushed talk about pushing the ball up the hill. I pushed the real estate ball up the hill for a good 10 years. 10 years of putting money out of my pocket every month, couple grand every month, pushing that ball up the hill. But I knew that pretty soon, once that snowball started rolling, and now, I mean, real estate is bringing in thousands of dollars per month for me every month, and it's picking up, steam. But you gotta, like, push that ball up. You gotta know that it's out there where you're aiming. And the thing is, you're not aiming for this year to make thousands of dollars this year off of your products. It's got to be further out, and you got to know that you're building the infrastructure that's.
No, but I am aiming for that this year, because I made $25,000 off of my products last year. If I can't make more than that this year, I'm doing something seriously wrong.
No, I disagree, because here's the thing, like R&D, you're building infrastructure. Anytime you reinvest or you're building infrastructure, I mean, companies do this all the time, right? They have a year where they're like, okay, but this is a reinvestment year. That's why we have no profit for this year. Even though we made $200 million last year, this year we introduced a new product, or we did some kind of thing, and we built our infrastructure out so that next year we'll be able to make $400 million. But this year we're taking a bye. We're skipping. So I mean, I wouldn't put any kind of financial pressure on yourself at this point as far as like product sales, because it's not going to help you. I would look at it. Are you building the infrastructure? Are you building the audience? Are you building the sustainable things that are going to let you build a business larger in the next few years, right?
You can't really control, like the focusing on the income has been super frustrating, because you can't control that directly. Like there's only so much that you can do to make people give you money. And if you focus, if that is your metric, then I'm realizing the same thing for me with the fitness stuff. Like I've been working out. I'm trying to put on some muscle. I can't make my body do that though. And I've realized that what would be more productive for me is to focus on something that's a little bit more controllable, like a performance goal. Like try to increase my bench press to 175. That's something that's a little bit more, it's something I can see progress steadily towards, versus like, are my pecs getting bigger? I can't really, I can't force my body to do that. You can't force people to give you money, but you can, you can say, okay, well, I know that if I write this blog post, I'm going to get, X number of hits, and I'm going to get X number of people on my mailing list. That's something you can control. The mailing list growth is something that you can control a little bit more predictably. And with the Twitter ads and stuff, like you can scale it out pretty quickly. So picking something like that to focus on, because that is something, it's a small step for people to do that is going to result in some benefit to you down the road. So it's a lot more productive to focus on something like that.
Yeah. I look at it like this way too. It's like I always use Glenn Block as an example, right? Or Glenn Beck, right? It's like if he sells a book, if he makes a book, he's going to sell millions of copies of the book.
Yeah.
He can write a book about why I like to take dumps, how I do it. Because
he did.
Maybe.
That's pretty much every one of his books.
But the point is, his infrastructure is so huge. He has such a huge following, such a huge audience, like that everything he touches is gold. So I mean, that's like an extreme example. But you build your audience and your infrastructure out, then you try to sell into that. You're going to have. I mean, it won't matter what you're selling at that point. So. That's where it's like the short term is on the monetary, but the long term is building the infrastructure that's gonna enable you to sell to this bigger audience, because you can focus on the smaller audience now, and that's it's just gonna be it's not gonna scale. Focus on the thing that scales.
Right. So.
Plus, let me throw one more thing out there. So what if you fail? Big deal, right? Like, let's say that, I mean, I don't know, like your dream is to be an entrepreneur, right? I think that's why we're here, right? It's like we all want the same type of thing. Like we want to make our way. We don't want to necessarily make as much money as we possibly could. We want to make our success ourselves, be self-made. And based on that, I mean, maybe you throw away this whole friggin' year and you just like it's a wash, and maybe you fail, and maybe you try again next year and you try new tactics, and maybe you fail next year. But if you keep going down that road, you're eventually going to hit success. And like, I don't know, how many times are you willing to fail to be able to hit the success? Like, I mean, I'm failing left and right on all kinds of things that I'm trying. I mean, we all are, but we know that someday all those failures are going to add up to the big success. So it's like, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is like, don't be discouraged by, I mean, even if I always tell myself the same thing, because I get discouraged too, and I'm like, if this whole year becomes a friggin' waste, if this new product I'm launching, if no one buys the damn thing, and they're like, man, you are such a scam artist, John, I don't even want to hear from you ever again, like So what? I learned a whole bunch from that, and then next product I launch is going to guarantee to be better, and I'm definitely going to, like, even if I start a new blog or whatever, I'd have so much experience to take from that. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the perspective that I have to constantly bash myself in the head with, and try to get in my mind is like, if the whole year's a wash, big freaking whoopee, big deal. Next year I can try again, you know?
Yeah. Well, and Derick, you've learned so much. I mean, like, if you think back to where you were when we started started our mastermind group,
Yeah.
Like, you've learned so much about marketing just in the last few months. And, I think you're really well positioned to make this go. I mean, it's just, like, you've got, you've taught me how to do Twitter advertising, which is gonna be huge for me now, I think. You've figured out how to set up and run your mailing list, and you're doing a great job at that. Like, your emails are great, and people are gonna.
Which is yet one more thing that I have to schedule in every week.
Don't worry about it. You know what? I'm not doing any emails. While I'm working on getting my marketing funnel set up here, I'm not doing any emails to my list. Guess what? I promise weekly emails to my list. I'm not doing them right now.
Yeah.
Because I need to get this other stuff done. And not just like I don't have the time. It's just I have 15 hours a week. That's my time.
Yeah.
So but yeah, you've really come a long way, and so don't beat yourself up too much.
And plus, you've helped us. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, you've brought us a long way. I mean, you're like, the help that you gave me on my landing page was awesome, and I mean, just all the interaction and advice that you've given us, encouraging us, has, like, I mean, you've got something to show for it. Or what I'm saying is, and really, I mean, here's another way to think of it. Like, we're kind of put our chips in the same kind of pot here, because all that really has to happen is one of us to be a runaway success, and we'll take the others with us. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm mentioning your stuff. I mentioned both of your products and my product. You guys are always mentioning my stuff. We're mentioning each other's stuff. Like,
Right.
like, out of the three of us, one of us, maybe all of us, but at least one of us is going to, like, make it huge, and then we're going to, it's going to be a boost. I mean, you look at the circle, like the Pat Flynn circle, right? That's exactly what happened. Like there was, one or two of them boosted all the way up there and took everyone with them. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just say that because it kind of helps to know that you're not alone, and that you're not just betting totally on yourself.
I need to wrap this up here.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get lunch before I have to go get my son.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Derick, maybe just take some time and think about it, and what you want to do. But I mean, I think this would be a good week to do commitments.
It would be.
Maybe we'll do it on the list. But and I'm going through the same kind of stuff too, so we can bounce ideas off each other and get the stuff going. So.
All right. So if you guys are saying that the mailing list is the
Yes.
thing that I need to be doing, in spite of losing $120 on Signal Leaf, $250 on Signal Leaf this month.
Well, if you can get this down, you can do the same thing for Signal Leaf. You can do a hyper-focused Twitter campaign on a giveaway for Signal Leaf, or
Right.
a giveaway for podcasters, and start to build your Signal Leaf mailing list. I mean, if you could add 50 people a week to your Signal Leaf mailing list, this $250 problem starts to go away really fast, right?
Yeah.
You could have a short course that walks them through setting up a podcast, and uses your service as the how to set up the hosting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of the mailing list. Like, I'm kind of done with blogging for right now, like, as a strategy for generating traffic, because it's too slow. It's too slow for me right now. When I have more time at some point, I'd love to do more blogging. But if I can find ways to use advertising to grow a mailing list, that is that is so much more powerful
Mm-hmm.
than blogging right
Well,
now.
content marketing like that is the thing that I'm good at. It's what I've been doing for 10 years.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
but email
But
lists
it's
are content marketing too.
horribly, horribly slow.
Yes, it is.
And I think I have
email,
like 40 people on the Signal Leaf list right now.
right. Yeah, if you could grow that to 500 in the next 2 months, I guarantee you that some of those people would convert.
Yeah. The other thing, oh shoot, I just lost it. I had something good. It's gone now. It's all right.
It's not been that good.
It was
I really got to go here. So
All right.
okay. All right.
good call today this week though.
Yeah.
Horribly frustrating, yes.
Hang in there. It'll get better. One thing. I remembered it. Let me just say this one thing. Don't worry where the loss is coming from. It's the same thing. I'll compare back to real estate real quick again. Is like I had some properties that were losing. Let's say I have a property that's losing $250 a month, right? But I have another property that's making $500 a month. So it only matters what the net is at the end of the month. Like it doesn't matter where it's coming from. You don't have to like plug the hole in the one thing that's costing you money. It only matters what your net is. If you can increase, what I'm saying is like if some property is losing me $250 a month, it doesn't mean I have to like upgrade that property and put in new renters and raise the rent and get that to a positive cash flow. Instead, I could take the property that's making $500 a month and make that one better because that's a better way to invest my time and make the $250 a month up there. So that's all I'm saying is like don't think that okay because Signal Leaf is losing money I have to make that generate the revenue. Pick up the revenue somewhere else on the back end or just work another couple hours consult like it. It doesn't matter where the money comes from. It only matters what the net is at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. So I'll do my list this week.
All right.
Hang in there, man. We're on your team.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it.
All right.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derick as we figure it out. We are the Entreprogrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developreneurs.